Nothing means nothing.
Nothing means nothing. What do you mean by that?
I'm talking about all the way to the top, yeah. Unjustifiably in a position that I'd rather not be in, but the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah. Macho Madness, yeah, has got more to offer than President Jack Tunney thinks that I got, yeah. And I'm gonna tell you something right now. Cards stacked against the Macho Man Randy Savage in WrestleMania 3. Yeah, let me say it, yeah. Let me say it out loud. And let me point to the president of the World Wrestling Federation. The Macho Man Randy Savage is not happy with your decision, yeah. I am the cream in the World Wrestling Federation.
Wait a minute,
and there is no doubt about it, yeah. You mean Gene Okerlund. You know that I'm the cream of the crop.
The very first edition of Oh No Wrestling!
Yes.
God, I can't believe we picked such an obnoxious title, Duncan, but I you know what? It fits with the brand, and I'm completely cool with it.
No, I can believe we picked such an obnoxious title, since that's exactly what we do.
Well, it kind of fits for everything that we do. For those of you who are unfamiliar with what the hell is going on, my name is Owen. On the phone with me all the way from Denver, Colorado.
Yeah.
It's my good friend Duncan. We've happened to do podcasting together now for quite a few years, and we decided because of our love of wrestling, we're going to sit down and instead of talking about whatever crap we usually talk about, we're going to actually talk about what we really like to talk about. How about that? How about
we
that?
Spend hours talking about anyway.
Exactly. Me and Duncan have recently. I can just say this myself. I took an extended period away from watching anything wrestling related. I would say probably even close to 10 years, like maybe 7, 8, 9, somewhere in there. And then this guy, Duncan, decided to get me back into the game. And I couldn't be happier with the fact that I am now once again a wrestling fan because everything has come back to me, Duncan.
Well, I mean, it doesn't take much for it to come back to you. And ultimately, it's something that as soon as one of us, I don't even remember who it was, that discovered that the other was a wrestling fan, we were like,
Wait, what?
Oh.
Wait, what? Yeah, we're friends and we're wrestling fans. Ultimately, we've decided that, yes, instead of talking on the phone at length for hours upon hours, essentially doing a wrestling show with nobody there, let's actually record and see what we can get out of this, because we already do a podcast. We're already familiar with the podcast industry. But we also love wrestling, so why not do the both? You know, that's fucking what is it? 2 birds, 1 stone.
I think that's what it is.
I think that's what it is.
I think it's 2 titles, 1 champion. I don't know.
Oh gosh, we'll have to get into that in a little bit, and trust me, we will.
Oh yeah, no, there's a preemptive spoiler alert.
We've got a lot of stuff coming. We've got a website coming for you. OhNoWrestling.com is actually going to be your source for everything that we do here. I will say that we're striving to be a little bit different in the wrestling world, because we want to focus on a little bit more of the positive aspects of wrestling rather than what so many people do.
I think the biggest part,
and hate on the industry that they love.
Exactly. We love pro wrestling. Like I think about it all the time. It's one of the very few things that's constantly on my mind. So that being said, like, yeah, there's things that I don't enjoy about pro wrestling. Of course, I'll bitch about them once in a while, but overall, I love pro wrestling. So I want to focus on what I love about it.
And as a bit of background, me and Duncan have been wrestling fans for a very, very long time. I think I mean, my brother got me into it when I was, as young as I can remember. He was always a fan, so therefore I was a fan.
Yep.
I think that kind of the same for you, not necessarily with the big brother, but like
No, with my grandma, but yes.
so grandma was actually the one that kind of got you
Yeah.
into wrestling.
Yeah, weirdly enough.
And here's the thing too. We're not qualified to speak on any of this. We are merely fans. We have no insider information. We're not going to tell you anything you don't already know. But what I do hope that you do enjoy is the fact that we're going to give you our candid opinions on what is going on in the world of not only the WWE but maybe other promotions as well. Whatever is actually happening.
Whatever
in the pro
catches our
wrestling
fancy.
industry, whatever catches our fancy, and we've got some ideas for how the show can develop over time, and we definitely want it to become not only a part of the Ono radio show or Ono media empire, but we want it to become part of your lexicon in the fact when you go to listen to a wrestling podcast, you think of us because it's going to be Oh No Wrestling, folks. Here we are talking about the things that you love as well with us. And we invite you as a community to join our Facebook page, which will be coming soon, and join our Facebook group, and to communicate with us your feelings and what you enjoy or don't enjoy about the whole state of professional wrestling. So
absolutely.
I think with that, we have so much incredible information coming out this week. Like, here we are sitting at probably I would say the most exciting time for a wrestling fan since I was a child. I really feel like this is the time that it is just good to be a wrestling fan, and it hasn't been for quite a long time. So it's really nice to kind of.
It's not that it hasn't been good. It's that it hasn't been either quite as entertaining or B as mainstream cool as it is right now.
It hasn't been mainstream cool really since I guess like the
Attitude
era with your Stone Colds and your Rocks and your
Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, like all those 90s superstars, late 90s superstars, which I love the Attitude Era. I was addicted to pro wrestling during that time. So, I
honestly,
love it. But
that's my favorite time of wrestling. But it's now. Here we are. Are we Attitude Era-ing 2.0? Is that what we're doing right now?
I mean, the Attitude Era didn't have the brand split at first.
Right.
So I don't know that that's what's happening. I think what it is that for so long we've seen the WWE style of pro wrestling in WWE. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of like 3 or 4 kind of like prototypical templates for what your superstars are. And then, we haven't seen a whole lot of deviation from that until the last few years where you've got all of these guys who have busted their asses around the world and independents and other federations and, for years that are now coming on to, the big stage, if you will, and just crushing it.
Do you think that's what's making the product as good as it is now? Is the overseas or the new talent rather than, I guess, the old guard, shall we say?
I think it's injected new lifeblood into it. You're getting styles that you never saw before. If you watch matches from the Attitude Era and then you watch matches now, you're like, oh, like watch matches with the top guys, like watch a Stone Cold match. And then, you watch, like the storytelling is different and the athleticism is incredibly different. Like it's a different world of pro wrestling right now.
Yeah, the wrestlers these days, like, I'm sorry, but I don't think like a lot of the old school wrestlers that we grew up loving, I don't think they could hang with a lot of even like the jobber new guys. Like, seriously.
it was a different time.
Yes.
So they were focusing on physique. They were focused. You know what I mean? Like, dude, I love watching matches with long rest holds and shit like that where they're telling a story, like, but you don't have time for that a lot of the times anymore. So in order to really, get over with the fans and make themselves top stars, the newer guys have had to, you know, go bigger and bigger with the moves that they do, like make it flashier and flashier if they're only going to have 5 or 6 minutes.
It's more of just like in a show off stance. You think it's like just them trying to get their name out there, like them trying to just make that.
I think it's more like you used to be able to have longer matches on TV, I think.
That's a good point. That's a really, really good point. That's not something that even happens anymore. Like,
The last couple weeks, like Raw
okay,
and
no.
SmackDown,
I do stand corrected. Over the last few weeks, we've had some. Okay, it's crazy that Raw had a 20-30 minute main event, like an actual main event match, something that you are used to seeing on a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Not necessarily every week on Raw. Like it's usually the main event match on Raw tends to be maybe 10-12 minutes tops,
give or take, and then there's a run-in or something at the end.
And then Raw goes over and USA goes, and then, it's back to, okay, well, random cut of somebody, fighting and, no resolution, I guess is what I'm trying to say. No end conclusion, where at least everybody can talk shit about this whole, like, how they handled this whole Ambrose Seth thing, or especially the first match before the draft. Everybody can talk shit about that. Yet in my mind, that was one of the first times in the last few years there was a resolution, there was an ending to a wrestling show. There was something conclusive.
Well, and
happened,
before they announced that, like right after on the network or whatever, that Dean was still the champion because it was a draw.
Right.
Like, I was invested in it. Like, Raw went off the air with me going, oh shit, I really need to watch SmackDown tomorrow. Not like I wasn't planning on it anyway because of the draft, but I was like, fuck, I needed to watch it. They created a storyline that was must see for me.
Absolutely.
And then they pissed on it, which is fine. You know what I mean?
Now, when you say they pissed on it, how do you?
I mean,
what
like,
exactly
why
do you mean by that?
Why wouldn't you have there be tension? Why wouldn't you have there be tension and open up SmackDown, the live SmackDown, with have there be some sort of tension that you want the resolution to, like, tell a story? Because Seth stole the title. There was clearly, Seth didn't steal the title. Seth was awarded the title by Stephanie because, from their view, Dean's shoulders were down and Seth's shoulders were down on the ref's point of view. You know what I mean? Like, there was controversy. If you have controversy, people want to tune in to see the resolution or the continuation.
I think that's what makes wrestling so great, is that you can sort of do that. It's
absolutely. I love it when they tell a good story. I don't mean they pissed on it as in, like, it's terrible, I can't believe they're doing this. No, I mean they pissed on it as, like, they wasted that I don't know, that tension, that artistic tension where it's just like, tune in next week to see what happens on.
They might have missed that. Yeah, they might have missed the point on that one.
Yeah. And that's me being me, and, and just being like, I would have loved to seen it drag on a little bit more. Or instead of having it be an immediate resolution, like, put out a video in the middle of the night or first thing in the morning that shows, like, Shane and Stephanie arguing and the referee sitting there and them watching the tape over and over. Like, make it a 2-3 minute thing. They declare a draw. Everybody's exhausted, goes, you know what I mean? Like,
no, I hear you.
That's me. not working for WWE Creative.
Probably not. You know who shouldn't work for WWE Creative?
Who's that?
Probably this guy.
Open up the champagne, pop. It's my house, come on,
God
turn it
damn
up. Hear a knock on the door and the night begins.
No. Oh,
Isn't it so bad?
why?
Every fucking little song that they pick for every pay-per-view. Why do all of them have to suck so
I will
much?
say that. Like,
Why do
like,
they... Oh, I don't even want to... This is maybe something we should talk about in future episodes.
yeah, let's
This
save
is something,
that one. Let's
this
start
is
with.
something
Let's
that
go into the
we'll
draft.
go through and analyze all of the wrestling songs on our next episode. How about that?
Maybe not our next one, but
No,
definitely it's going to be.
I think it's coming down the line. It's
Oh,
coming
it is.
soon. But we take a look at all the really shitty fucking wrestling theme songs that they have. Like
All the bad new metal, all the bad
Oh.
like pop country.
WWE. It's the worst. Stop.
It is the worst.
Stop
Please
trying
stop.
to be
With
cool.
the exception of Motorhead, like the one time that they had them.
Yeah, what is Triple H going to do now? Like, I don't know that he can ever really wrestle again because like. He can't ever come back with a cooler theme song than something
Well, no, but
done
he's
by
got
Lemmy.
like 4
You know what I mean?
Motorhead.
He does have like 4 Motorhead songs, but if he wanted to like sort of try and come back and reinvent himself, he'd have a hard time doing it now.
Dude, he could pick, he's not going to.
Nah, look at, hey, we all know
Yeah.
that he's not going to do that. Like, that's a silly idea. But at the same time, fucking Lemmy's dead, and you're never going to have a cooler theme song than I Am the Game.
Yeah, then Lemmy's Cocoa Puffs singing his
I love it.
singing his theme song.
I love him.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so good.
All right. Stop that.
Guys, you know what it is time for, and what we do need to directly get into right away. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the Weekly Takedown. I'm going to put some effects on that and make it sound all cool. Is that?
Oh yeah.
Is that
yeah,
good?
No, totally.
Is that good? Yeah, no. Basically, the Weekly Takedown is where we take a look at what happened in the week here in wrestling, and we need to obviously talk seriously about this draft.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are hating on the draft. I am one that I'm like, you know what? I'm going to see what happens.
I go both ways with it. I see
Yes.
I see some of the good stuff. I see some
Yeah.
of the bad stuff.
Yeah.
What I will say is that obviously the first 5 picks were all great. Like let's just be honest. It was
Absolutely.
really cool that John Cena wasn't first pick out of the gate. You know, like it would have
Right.
It would have
Which was
sucked.
a surprise for everybody.
And it kind of was, but I love the fact that first pick went to Raw, it goes to Rollins. Second pick or first pick for SmackDown goes to Ambrose. You know, like you've already got that split. You've already got those 2 guys that
Yep.
are feuding now. Like
Which you had to figure was going to happen. Like
it's-
you and I had talked about
the
it
night
before.
the night before it was very clear, like on that previous Raw,
Well,
what
our
was
fantasy
happening
booking
there.
as well. Like, you know, when we just like, hey, what do you think's going to happen? You know, we both were like, yeah, Seth is going to go to Raw,
And Dean will probably go to
and
SmackDown.
Dean will go SmackDown, and they'll be the top 2 picks.
And we said that even before the Roman shit, by the way. Like we called that weeks before the Roman stuff thing happened.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I mean, and that's what we wanted, knowing that if Roman wasn't suspended, that he'd have probably gone first.
Plus, it just fits for the brand. Like,
Right.
it's kind of an obvious given, and there's so many like pay-per-view opportunities that come down the road later, like where you know these guys don't always get the chance to fight, but when Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins meet at a pay-per-view later down the line, it's a bigger deal.
It's gonna be a big ticket that you're gonna want to see.
Because you don't get to see that every week.
Right.
Now,
And that's another thing that's good about the draft is you get to split up some of these people that do have good matches together, and you get to have them, draw it out so that when, instead of seeing them fight every other week, you maybe see them have a match.
I think that's
twice
better
a
for the
year.
product overall. I think it helps. I don't think it's good to, it's that overexposure thing. You don't want to
Right.
completely oversaturate your audience with the same product over and over and over. How do you feel about, like, okay, going from there? It makes sense, I guess. But Charlotte, second round pick,
I like
sorry,
that
first
in
round
that-
pick, second pick overall for
second
Raw.
overall for Raw. I like that in that it established that Raw is definitely, like, they were looking for the champions,
Right.
which completely made sense. And the two most, I mean, obviously Stephanie was never going to draft Dean. So
Yeah.
obviously she thinks that Seth is her best bet to have the championship back on Raw, and then they have Charlotte for the women's championship.
And it does make, like, when they did that, though, at first I'm like, okay, cool. That's sort of, like, I thought it was going to solidify the fact, like, there was going to be a one brand thing with the women. I thought there was, I thought they were going to go down that road, which they didn't, but I still feel like would have been better. Like, I don't know.
And I agree. Like, I think they should have had, because, like, you look at the women on SmackDown. Like, you've got Becky Lynch, awesome. Natalya, heel Natalya is terrible. Naomi, whatever.
Right.
Alexa Bliss, okay.
So many whatever names, dude.
Yes, Eva Marie and Carmella. Like, okay, so you got 6 women there, and then on the women's championship, where the women's championship is on Raw, you have Charlotte, Sasha, Lana does not count. So
No.
you have Nia Jax, Paige, Alicia Fox, and Dana Brooke. You have exactly as many women on Raw as you have on SmackDown.
And
You
they've
only have
clearly
one
made
title.
that. They've clearly made that separation where they've decided that they're both rosters need a women's division, and that's just the way it's going to have to be. I say, in my opinion, even it's out there. Like the CWC with the cruiserweights, like they announced that the cruiserweights were going to be a Raw exclusive thing.
Right, and then you have
there was going to be a division of just cruiserweights that are
and there's
just going to Raw.
What, like 2? How many we got? We got Sin Cara and Sin Cara.
Neville.
You
know, yeah,
maybe Finn. Finn might
feel
be.
like, see, I don't think Finn's going to be competing in any cruiserweight stuff.
I don't think he is
What I
either.
think they're going to do with the cruiserweight thing, and mark my words, the cruiserweight thing will have a couple of the guys that you know, but most of the people are going to be on there. They're not going to be anybody that was in this draft. They're not going to be anybody that's drafted.
They're going to be people from the CWC.
They're going to be people from the CWC that a lot of the audience has never even heard of. Now,
which is going to be
wouldn't it have been smarter to have done the women on one roster, say Raw, because it's a 3-hour show, and then you split the roster for the cruiserweights so they can compete on both shows to get the exposure out there to these new guys,
right?
And then you have the ability to build stars on either roster. It would make more sense to me to have that one split rather than the women's. Does that make sense?
No, I completely agree with you. It's just funny to me because you're going to add all those cruiserweights to Raw, but, like, if you don't do it right, SmackDown is going to get stale pretty quick.
I'm looking at the lists right now, and I'm looking at all the picks. I'm looking at the lists, and we have to say that AJ Styles, I am first off surprised that he's the second, pick for the SmackDown team. That Vince let AJ
go in the first round.
Be that, like, important, first off, like being a former TNA guy. I think it's really exciting that happened, and I think that says volumes about how they feel about AJ and the company.
And it also says volumes about how AJ is perceived by the fans.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's really much argument that people like AJ. So
or they hate AJ right now. That's the thing. Like, you want them to boo him. Like, what you saw the meme is AJ is such a good heel that he turned John Cena face.
That's a really good point. And then you got the following pick by Raw, and of course it's everybody's favorite guy in the world.
Yep.
It's Roman Reigns.
Burn it.
Boring.
Yep, I knew it was coming. I had to serve it up for you.
Roman. Boring. Boring.
All right.
Slow.
Enough.
You got it. You know it. So I'm surprised. Like, I think that might be a sign of things to come, especially with this whole wellness policy
He's
violation.
gonna stay in the goddamn main event.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of speculation. Oh no, Roman's gonna be completely like battered down. He's gonna be. No, they're not. They still invested a shitload of money into him, and the kids are still gonna buy T-shirts because their parents aren't gonna tell them why Roman Reigns were gone. What a wellness policy violation even means. Like that doesn't mean anything to the merch sales.
Well, but that's the thing is the merch sales aren't going to be affected. Like, I'm sure they're still selling Roman merch. People our age and in their like mid to late 20s hate Roman Reigns. Kids who, let's be real, the majority of the audience, like the majority of the product is kind of geared towards that family audience.
It is, yeah, of course.
So like I don't know, Roman has that sort of appeal for them. I don't know. You know what I mean? We'll see. They're gonna boo the ever living shit out of him on Sunday.
You know what I do know is that I completely spoke out of turn and got my shit wrong, and there's a smark out there fucking like bashing his head against a wall because Roman Reigns was not the pick after AJ Styles. I believe Finn Balor wasn't he?
Yes, Finn Balor was.
Finn Balor was the pick after AJ Styles.
Were going right to because we had talked about. Well, we don't have to. We're not going to go through every pick. That's what.
We can't go through every pick. It would take fucking forever. When we don't want to do a podcast version of the goddamn post show with the Golden Truth and Mojo Riley or whatever.
Oh, Mojo!
Come on, get out of here. But I will say, like, okay, yes, Finn gets drafted before Roman. That's huge. Like that is. I think everything's on the same side without the wellness policy violation, but I think Roman Reigns is a lot higher of a pick, and he definitely
goes in the first round,
and he still gets drafted before Finn Balor. Like, no matter how you look at it, now they're looking like, okay, Finn, come and lead the company. Come and do what you do, and we know you can do, and what you should be doing. Like, maybe that's just the inner smark in me talking. Like, that's the.
Well, I mean, honestly, like they should. First of all, they should have some long-term plans and know what they're doing.
Right.
I don't know if they do.
Yeah,
Maybe they do.
We often debate this off air, even just like back and forth. Like, so do you think they actually like do that? Do you think they knew that? Like,
I know there was a while that they didn't.
Half the time, I don't think they do. Half the time, I think it's just all off the cuff. It's night of decisions of.
I think they had a lot of plans that got blown to shit by the injuries that happened over the last few months.
I think they've had that happen, and they've learned to become a company that can adapt and do anything.
Right.
So they almost now like just kind of wing it. You know, it's like doing a podcast and not having anything prepared and saying, I'm really, really good at what I do. I can just fucking sit down and talk and everything's going to be gold, right?
And that's called the Oh No Radio Show.
It's pretty much what it is called. At the same time, is that the best thing for the WWE? Oh, the GoPro died. Oh, we knew it was gonna. It's fine. Is that the best thing for the WWE though? You know, to go with that approach. I dare say that isn't. You know, I feel like they
probably not.
They probably need to think things through a little bit further. But I have this weird, maybe just general hope that they're starting to realize what the fans want, what they should be doing, and like I think they're just like a year or two behind everything. Like they're not like 6 years behind. They're like a year behind, and they're always just a step or two out. Like it takes them a little bit, and then once they get it, they're like, oh, cool.
Right.
That's what we should do. And then they'll do it
and organically, like, that happens like Daniel Bryan, and then it gets fucking just taken away. And anytime like something starts to blow up huge like that, things, the New Day right now, they need to not split up the New Day right now.
They shouldn't. It's here's the thing.
Unless it's temporary.
Unless you literally have Xavier go and be a part of the member of the Wyatts. Like if you have
that's what I'm saying. Like it's a temporary like Xavier brainwashing or corruption, and then the power of positivity brings him back, and maybe make it like a whole year-long struggle or something of Xavier just being a total rat bastard.
The problem with that is it won't happen now because they're on different brands. The New Day's on Raw and fucking Bray's on SmackDown. So it's not.
And Bray's on SmackDown with Luke Harper.
Well,
or
they
with
haven't
Eric
said
Rowan,
no.
because Luke Harper is
he
still
was
out
on the
with
injury list. Yeah, they don't know. I mean, I guess they could. What happens now? Yeah, when people come back from injury or people get introduced, like I guess it's all just random. Like, of course it's so random, but I guess they just forget like the rules of the draft. They just go wherever they need to go. I don't know.
I mean, I guess that what it'll ultimately be is whatever will be better for storyline.
Correct. Yeah, obviously.
So I think, and this is my prediction, is that when Harper comes back, he will join with Bray and Rowan on SmackDown.
And you're probably right. Now, my moving on to like storylines and stuff though too. What the fuck do they do with Randy Orton, who is the third pick overall for SmackDown? Fourth pick. After John Cena.
No.
Wasn't it?
The fourth pick after John Cena.
After John Cena on SmackDown.
I was
Randy
like, he
Orton.
was not the fourth pick overall.
No. It would make him like the eighth pick or whatever. Yeah,
he
it would
was
make him
pick number 7.
Okay, 7. How does that work?
For SmackDown.
Because of the whole Raw, they get 3. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
No, yes. For SmackDown, Randy Orton. Like, why? Am I the only one that just gives no shits? Or is that a general consensus? I don't know where people stand on the Orton thing.
I mean, I like Orton, but what's he doing?
Like, who's he going to get in a program with? Like, let's look at the list. Could he get in a program with Bray Wyatt? That's actually probably not terrible.
It could be not terrible if they actually let Bray fucking win a match.
Apart from that, it's like Ziggler, Corbin, which it won't be. Del Rio. Oh, it's gonna be Del Rio Orton, isn't it?
Del Rio. He'll do a program with Del Rio. They're gonna push Apollo Crews.
Oh, god damn it! Smiley fucking Blackmans. I love Apollo Crews, by the way. I just get a personality, dude. Like, come on.
He's just happy.
Do something. Dude, it's not enough for me. Like, you're a wrestler. Like, you can't just be happy all the time.
He is.
It's not allowed. It's not allowed.
Well, it is. So
Apollo Crews should be like part of our logo. We're gonna have Apollo Crews as a silhouette, I think, with Ono radio shows or Ono wrestling written all over Apollo Crews.
Oh my god,
he's how like
no, stop it before it goes down the rail.
No, I'm telling you right now. Remember how like how like the podcast logo for a while or whatever it was, the iTunes logo for podcasting or not podcasting but music was like Bono, but it was like the silhouette of Bono.
Oh, just the silhouette.
And no one really knew it was Bono until someone's like,
and it just had it had the white earbuds.
Yeah, it was like clearly that's Bono, and someone pointed it out, and everybody was like, "Oh yeah, you're right." That's what we do with Apollo Crews, and he's gonna be our big dude wrestler in the.
He's gonna be our tile logo on iTunes.
Yep.
All right,
that's it. What we were talking about now? Sorry, I interrupted
we were
you.
talking about what is happening with Randy Orton.
Okay.
But can we also talk about like why the hell do you draft Kane?
Oh, 'cause fire, dude.
I know that was
fire.
what we said. Because
No, because fire. Like people still, I think people pay to see that shit. Like he's the only one that has like a spectacular intro. You need at least one guy on your roster that has a spectacular intro, and that is why they should have brought up Nakamura. But
yeah, but Nakamura's intro is spectacular to us. It doesn't have any spectacle to it.
Ah, man, you haven't seen it as many times then as me.
Relax, fanboy.
No.
No, because I love Nakamura as much as you do, but like you're talking spectacle, like fire shooting.
Right. Kane does have the most spectacular intro on on either roster, really.
Well, I mean, you think about it. Like AJ's got pyro. Becky
Brock
Lynch
would be the only one that I think would compete, really.
Who?
Brock, man. Like as far as intro goes and like pyro and shit, like
Brock's isn't that impressive.
It's a lot of like sparklers and shit. I don't know.
When they even do it, he doesn't even get it all the time.
I don't know. Like WWE doesn't do, I guess, intros like they used to, but I still think that there's a certain part of the viewing audience that likes that, you know, that likes,
I agree.
The big fire, that likes the, oh shit, here's Kane, he's gonna do his thing and he's gonna throw his hands down and then boom,
Rey Mysterio pop out of the stage.
Like, what else can you like? It's almost all been done. That's the sad thing, you know.
Yep.
I mean, it's. I imagine
you just gotta go back to like some sort of because there's so many reality based characters now.
Yeah, it's
hard to do.
Almost,
like you can't do a Brood
when
entrance anymore.
Yeah, kayfabe's dead, so you can't really do like.
Well, yeah, like what are you gonna do? You're gonna have like a, somebody at the top of the Titantron that lowers down on a lift or some shit. Like, why? You have to have a reason why it happened.
Yeah, you do. But I guess the only
Kane
other
is a demon from hell.
The only other person that has an entrance, like, I would say, as compelling as Kane's would be Bray. Like, he would be the only one to...
Yeah, and Bray's is a fan-built thing.
Like, you can't have Bray do dumb shit like come down from the rafters, you know? Like, you can't have him do that. Because it would make him look dumb as fuck. Like, it's just, oh, here, I gotta unclip my thing. Like, you know how awkward that always is. Like,
right,
you could do that with AJ Styles. You could have AJ Styles do something crazy where he flies in somehow, or, you know, like...
That will never happen again.
I know it won't. And we know everyone out here knows Blue Blazer what we're talking about, but it's still like a fascination of mine to have those like crazy fucking like.
I think you need entrances like that. Like you need people whose entrance is as much a part of the gimmick as the match itself. Like a lot of people don't give a shit about the match; they care about the entrance.
That's half of wrestling, man. That's half of why we watch. Give Bo Dallas a good entrance. You know,
actually, Bo's entrance in person was pretty cool. It's got like the whole rocket ship taken off.
It just doesn't get the attention it deserves then, because I never really have like gotten into you know, the whole like. I love Bo. I think Bo Dallas, like, and I'm really happy they gave him a little time on the mic and they did that whole social outcast kind of like separating thing. But Bo was the one drafted first, and like he's the best out of those guys. I'm really glad they went in that direction, like kayfabe or not. It kind of helps his character move along. Now I just say, give Bo something to work with. Like, come on, like
No, I'm with you. Like Bo's got to have something. And the sad thing is like Curtis Axel, really good talent as well.
Oh, dude, that man can wrestle. Like he is insanely good in the ring. He's not bad on the stick. He's not bad on the stick. He's not great, but he's
right.
I would much rather watch a Bo Dallas promo than I would a Curtis Axel.
And I would much rather watch a Curtis Axel match
than a Bo Dallas match. You're 100% correct. You're 100%.
So, I don't know. I
don't know what they do with him though. Like, does he have to? I feel like he's gonna be one of these guys that there's just perpetuatingly like, I don't know, waiting for a tag team partner. I mean, it's something like that, you know, like he put him with someone like they have to do something with him because he's not. They need to reinvent him is what I think. They sort of give him an edge because he's not cool. He's got nothing to him. Like there's nothing sort of like make him a badass. Make him like shave his head.
The funny thing is,
give him a mohawk or something and fucking put a leather jacket on him and make him a badass. And overnight that dude's like different, you know, like
right. Dude, but the thing is the social outcasts were starting to like annoyingly grow on me.
No, they weren't on me.
They were like I liked how oblivious they were.
Yes. There was definitely the comedic value to the group
Because, and here's why I say that. Hold on.
Yeah, fair enough.
But here's why I say that though, is because like they were starting to get a little bit of opportunity to kind of do their thing and like be their own personalities. And that's what happened with New Day. When New Day first happened, we couldn't fucking stand it.
Yeah, New Day can wrestle though.
So can Curtis Axel. So can Bo Dallas.
Bo and
Heath Slater isn't terrible either.
No, I think that's the problem. Like, if honestly, like that is the problem. Heath was the problem with that equation. Like, they would have worked if it wasn't for Heath. Heath needed
to not be the mouthpiece.
I'm not gonna try and hate on Heath, but he shouldn't have been like the mouthpiece of the thing.
Exactly.
And that's exactly I think why that failed. Like. It was a decent idea as an experiment. It could have kind of taken off, and I saw the direction, like you said, almost with the New Day and that type of thing. But
and it was really the last couple weeks where they were starting to, like, in my opinion, it was just like, oh, that's a little chuckle funny. You know what I mean? Like they were starting to be really obnoxious, and I was starting to get a kick out of it.
No, I totally get it. I don't know what they do with Heath now. I mean, he
can join the Ascension?
They should do something fucking funny with him, though. That would be great. Like something just completely absurd. Have him join the Ascension.
Have him like try to join every other tag
Yes,
team.
that would be amazing. Like if he tries to he starts dressing up and like trying to almost audition for every tag team. Like
one day he comes in and he's got like the urban camo on and the glasses.
Yeah,
like
he tries to be a Dudley, and then he's got the next day he's in purple and he's got fucking unicorns with him, and he's
Yep, and then he's got like the golden truth, like the gold dust.
Yeah,
face
he could
paint.
do that one. And then finally he goes to try and like get with the new guys, American Alpha, and he's in a singlet and he looks completely out of place. And I don't know.
No, I think the best.
He ends up with the Usos.
I was gonna say, I think the best would either be the Ascension or the Usos, because the ridiculous face paint, and with the Ascension, he would have like cardboard shoulder pads with spikes and shit.
Dude, that would be hysterical. You could even do it with like the vaudevillains. Like
that's what I'm saying.
Like
he comes out. Yes.
Oh my god, that is. See, we're not idiots, guys. That's why we do a red. Oh, dude, he tries to be part of the club. Oh.
And they just destroy him. See,
that's why we're wrestling fans. That's why we do a wrestling podcast.
Right.
Shit like this, because it makes me laugh.
It makes me laugh too. I think that shit is fucking funny.
All right, so we've already gone probably over the time that we had sort of allotted for ourselves, but it's fine. Hits and misses from this, last night of drafting or whatever. I don't know. There's obviously a huge number of misses in what they did with all the NXT call-ups, apart from American Alpha and apart from Finn. It seems like that.
I mean, Nia Jax is a good addition to the women's roster.
It makes sense. She makes complete sense. She would be the only exception to that. Otherwise, it's like, okay, that's just obviously pad out the women's roster. That's just
it's like, why Eva Marie?
Yeah, there's just no reason that those people need TV time over so many. Like even Ty Dillinger, he deserves to get promoted before like lower NXT guys deserve to get promoted before some of the bitches they called up. That's all I'm saying.
Right. Well, and not even that, but they're gonna need to call up some more NXT people just to like keep the roster fresh. Here's my prediction about that though. Is they're going to do it gradually.
I think it's going to be one by one, and I think that's also part of they're going to be keeping the odd cruiserweight in, and like, oh, you might graduate even onto the main. You're not even a cruiserweight anymore. You're, like so because of the cruiserweight thing is why I think that this is going to sort of work because they probably have like. I would guess. I mean, how many people is the cruiserweight CWC? It's how many people is in that total? Like, it's got to be
40.
Was it 40? I don't know. Whatever number it is, you got to assume that there's probably at least 10, maybe 15 or 12 like guys that they're gonna want to probably sign and have contracts with, and gonna work with that can work on either roster with smaller guys. Like I was really surprised. Like. Why wasn't Kalisto signed to Raw so that he could be in the... Because he's more of a cruiserweight than Sin Cara, and they did that backwards. And then why are you going to fucking do Sami Zayn and KO on the same roster? I don't get it. They should have been split.
Are you really going to have them like fight every week?
Yeah, because that's all they can do. Like one of them almost... if they were intelligent, they'd do this. They would fucking have Kevin Owens going to Stephanie, bitching and fucking moaning and saying, I can't be on the same roster with this guy, and trade me for somebody. And like all of a sudden you're trading.
Or trade him.
Yeah, get rid of me. Like one of the two. Get rid of me or Sammy. Someone's got to go. There's going to only be one of us here. Like that's what they should do. And maybe they will.
But maybe here's the thing.
But SmackDown doesn't have anybody. SmackDown doesn't have that many people. Like, what do we got? Like, we got AJ Styles, John Cena, Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt, Becky Lynch, The Miz, Baron fucking Corbin. Like,
but you're missing the forest for the trees.
You tell me this all the time.
I do, and I believe that. First of all, the draft happened. Nothing else has happened.
It's true.
Like, Battleground hasn't happened. The first Raw and SmackDown after the draft hasn't happened. Like, we have all new storylines and angles that are about to work. So, we just got to give it a fucking second. Like, it's real easy for all of us as wrestling fans to jump all over it and be like, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. However, it might surprise us.
I hope so. I really do. I just want Cesaro to do well. Like that's I was really surprised he didn't go to SmackDown, and I thought
how low in the draft he went.
Yeah. I mean, I know again kayfabe, but there's no reason.
Dude, I don't know. He seemed pretty pissed in his interview.
He really did. Like that was almost pipe bombish. Like that was crazy to see because that was outside the box. Like that was kind of an awesome promo because it was real. Like I wish they got to do that more. And then by the same token, Kalisto had his where he went. Go do
the lucha thing.
Do lucha thing.
It's like, oh man.
Oh, you don't know how to talk, do you? Oh.
Like he's cut promos before.
Come
like,
on,
bro,
man.
What's going on?
You know English,
dude.
It's time.
Racist wrestling moment of the night
for the Turnbuckle Time Machine. Man, there's probably going to be some crazy. I have importing clips. See, yeah, got it. 1 sec. Do you know what the Turnbuckle Time Machine even really means? I'm still trying to figure that out myself, Duncan.
I mean, I am as well. I think what it really is sort of our fond memories of wrestling.
I think that's what it is. I think it's kind of like memories from our youth that have never happened, or the story's never been told to the general public, that only wrestling fans would enjoy. Is that a decent description?
Yeah.
I think that's about there. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to?
I mean,
do
I
mine?
can. I guess, like, I don't know. I've been a wrestling fan for a really long time, and I grew up in a small town in Michigan, and the local video rental store,
Okay.
dude was really cool. He would, get the pay-per-views, the big four back in the day. And, we would rent them. And back when if you were a video store owner and you purchased things from Coliseum Video, which was the WWF.
Coliseum Video. I remember that now.
Yeah. If you purchased like all the WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, they all came with like a gift or a trinket or some sort of collectible as like, you get the VHS cassette of the match, but you also get something else. So the dude that owned this store, his name was Doug, and he was super cool, and he would like give me the shit that came with the cassettes. And after so long, he would sell them and I would buy them.
How old were you at that point?
Young, bro, like 10.
Okay. That's not that young. I mean, in a weird
Well,
way, that
like-
doesn't sound that young to me.
I mean, like I had been going there for my entire life, so probably like between 8 and 10, I would say,
Okay.
is when it started.
That's when it started.
So yeah, and that happened for several years, several pay-per-views. I had a huge collection of VHS tapes. Like I had WrestleMania 1 through like 7 on VHS.
That you got from that same video store?
Yeah,
or-
from the video store.
All from the same guy, or
Yeah.
that's awesome. So he was the one feeding it to you in a sense.
He was my WWE network
he was-
before the WWE network existed.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. But like that was really cool. Like I had a coin from the Royal Rumble, like a bronze coin or some shit that is probably in a box of stuff in my grandma's house somewhere.
So that's like your earliest wrestling memory. Is that where you were going with? Like your very, very
I don't know
first,
if it's
or-
my very first, but it's pretty close. Like my very first is like literally being not old enough to know what's going on and just laying on the floor.
Yeah, and that's the weird thing, because like I if I'm gonna be honest with myself, I don't know when my first wrestling memory is. Like,
No, me neither.
I
do. No, I do. I know my earliest wrestling memory that's a vivid wrestling memory. It's of SummerSlam 89, the Mega Powers, like it was a Macho Man Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan thing, but like I was in
I was
preschool.
I was 4, like I don't know, like
I was, I'm 3 years older than you. I was 7.
yeah. But that's
So
a
I'm
big
not-
difference though, 7 to 4, like
Right, but that's like my first conscious. I remember being in preschool, in the upstairs of the preschool, and all I could think about was SummerSlam 89 because I had the tape at home and I was going to get to watch it when I got home. The event had happened months before, but I
Right,
didn't
right.
know.
no, it didn't matter at that point.
Yeah.
Like
There wasn't a Monday Night Raw. There was like a weekly recap show, but I didn't pay attention to storylines on a weekly basis. Like if it didn't have anything to do with Hulk Hogan, I really didn't care.
for me, it was my brother, that was
Yep.
was that guy because he was into wrestling, and I don't even know how I will have him on the show at some point to talk about
Definitely.
wrestling, and definitely ask him this very question, like what was it with you that got you into wrestling? A little British kid that, like my dad hates it. My mom does not necessarily love it. Like they bought us all the figures. They would get the grandparents to go to every store looking
Yep.
for the figures, and like,
Dude, my grandma hooked
Reese,
me up
like
with the
Reese
figures.
my brother would write down like all the ones he didn't have, and that were coming out, and like, I want this one for Christmas or birthdays or whatever, and then he'd go to every Toys R Us or every toy store or whatever looking for these things, and it just I don't know, I from the moment I was almost like conscious as a human being, like sentient came online. I found wrestling was there, like because of my brother. So
Yeah.
it was. I didn't really have a choice. And I honestly, it's the best thing that's ever happened to me because it had so many like good memories, like of me and my like brotherly memories, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
I was always obviously the younger brother, and he would take me like whenever. Okay, back in those days, it wasn't like it is now, and the kids these days are fucking spoiled. Let me just say that.
So spoiled.
Because back in my day, even though I'm only 30, back in my day it was a big deal when WWE came to town because it didn't happen on the reg like it does now, especially in Orlando. Like here we are, Kissimmee, Florida. We go to the Tupperware Center, Duncan. Are you even familiar with that is?
I am not. Has it been renamed 7 times? Is it not even there?
No, I think it was actually owned and established by the Tupperware.
I mean, I would assume, but
yeah. And it's a small theater. I don't know if it's been renamed now. I don't even want to venture a guess as to how many seats that place holds, but my first wrestling show was there, and.
Nice.
And I got to see Yokozuna, and he was fighting some jobber. And I'm not even kidding. No kayfabe, no bullshit. The rope broke when Yokozuna fucking went off it.
To do the bonsai drop.
Yep. And it was a whole to-do. Like, they ended up sloppily, like, ending the match, but... Like you could even see like in the crew's eyes, like everybody like, oh shit, that was almost like really bad. Like he almost died. Like, and I'm probably like 10, maybe 9, 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there. And I even at that age, for sure know something weird is going on.
Right.
And Yokozuna, you saw him like he took this weird ass tumble. Like pretty sure he sprained an ankle. Like in that whole thing, like. That dude should not have hit the ropes probably as hard as he did. At the same time, that probably wasn't set up very well, especially when it's at the Tupperware Center in Kissimmee, Florida. I mean, you can blame it on his weight, is I guess what I'm trying to say. Like, not necessarily like blaming it on him. Whatever, he's a big dude. Yeah, you can say that, but no, I think it's more of a case that it was poorly rigged or poorly set up, constructed, and that's honestly like my first live memory. I remember just like that like white powder that bursts when a rope breaks. That white powder. I was front row and had some of that shit, that dust like getting in my eyes. Like when it happened, I was that close to it. Like Yokozuna almost killed me. And if you've ever seen me, guys, I'm probably about as skinny as a guy that you'll ever meet. All of you can beat me up. If Yokozuna would have fell on me as an 8-year-old child, I would not be talking to you now. So you can thank Yokozuna for presenting you with this goddamn show.
I'll take it.
I'll take it too. Dude, I think that's kind of a good, first episode, man. Like we did some of the Lord's work today.
Absolutely.
I think we need to do this probably like multiple times a week, and we just kind of like rock together as many shows as we feel like works. I'm kind of into this. I like talking about wrestling. I like talking about wrestling with my best friend in the goddamn world. Hopefully you people do too. And if you want to check us out, you should go to onowrestling.com. That's where we're kind of piloting everything from here. I guess we'll get a Twitter and a Facebook page and all that stuff later down the road. Dunks,
I suppose.
I guess we
should.
Gotta do that. Like, is that a thing? I mean, I guess we gotta. Apart from that, just enjoy our general malarkey and ramblings about wrestling every week. Is that fair? Is that what you
I think that seems to be fair. I mean, we're gonna, like every week, we're gonna bring you our take on what's happening in this world of pro wrestling that we love so very much.
And you'll always get a bell. Sorry. I did it too many times.
Like I get a little crazy.
Oh, I got a little. I
Ring the
got,
bell.
dude. Can we just say though, if anybody before we get out of here for our first episode, if anybody has a hookup on a legit bell, let me know because I want one.
Ooh.
Yeah, I want one sitting in my corner because I
All
just want to hammer the fuck out of that thing. Is it Christmas yet? Someone get that for me.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right, I think that's it. Thank you for joining us for our first episode. I know it's been a little rocky. We're gonna do our best to really kind of tighten this whole thing up. Trust me when I tell you, we're gonna have some really fucking fun stories every week, and we've got some interesting ideas for some segments. And if you're a wrestling fan, you'll probably enjoy what we're talking about. Is that fair? Is that fair, Duncan?
I think so. I think that's very fair to say. Like, we try not to be dickheads about what we're doing. So hopefully we are something you're going to enjoy in the future. Because, like it or not, this shit is happening.
That's right. We'll see you next week. Oh, no wrestling.